You're listening to Ipek's Wytching Hour. Welcome back.
All right, fuckers, are you excited tonight?
Oh, I'm so excited. I almost came in my pants. That means an ejaculation in the pantalones.
Oh my god, that's fucking nasty. That's not what I'm talking about. Ipek's Wytching Hour tonight, second week of 2013, is bringing you our first fucking guests and the best fucking metal release in 2013. Phil Anselmo's War of the Gargantuas split release with Warbeast. Tonight you're gonna hear these tunes. I already heard it. I fucking loved it. I can't stop listening.
And I love it this weekend because it is a taste of the Phil Anselmo's a solo project, and his band is called Phil Anselmo and the Illegals because everybody else except for Phil is a Mexicano or they're some type of illegal aliens. I love it.
I think it's a fucking new revolution for Phil. The vocals are so fucking hot, high. It's very different than Pantera, anything else he's done before. And don't forget, this split project has Warbeast, 2 tunes on it, and they're fucking killer. If you like me, old school thrash, straightforward, a fucking great shit.
Heavy metal, Miss Weekend.
It's a pure metal tonight.
And we got the Bruce, the singers from the Rigor Mortis. This is his new project. So if you say what happened to Rigor Mortis, it's Warbeast. And we're also doing a tribute to the late Rigor Mortis guitar, Mike Scaccia, tonight. And then, Miss Wicca, without further ado, I know that tonight we got mainly the interviews and the music, so we don't have too much talking to do. Can you tell people what they need to do after the show tonight?
They need to go fucking buy the EP online. And the tour is starting with Down and Warbeast together. What a fucking great lineup. Too bad they're not coming to Florida. I'm going to miss them.
It's called the Weed and Speed Tour, Miss Wicca.
Stay tuned for 2 interviews back-to-back.
It's going to be all throughout the show, guys. I'm going to play some of my classic karaoke of Pedro Anselmo, where I did a Pantera songs that I sang for you guys.
Yes.
So, guys, we're going to come back after this. But you're going to be listening to the interview with the man that made the legend, Miss Wicca, and the Philip Anselmos. I love it.
Motherfuckers! Our special guest tonight on Ipek's Wytching Hour, none other than Phil Anselmo, legendary frontman of almighty Pantera, Down, and his numerous projects, Arson Anthem, Superjoint Ritual, Viking Crowns, and Housecore recording owner. On January 8, 2013, Housecore released Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals, a split EP with the Warbeast on Housecore Records. The title is War of the Gargantuas, and we'll include 2 songs from each artist, and 7-inch vinyl also available online. Phil's full-length solo debut, Walkthrough Exits Only, will be released in 2013 via Housecore. So welcome to the show, Phil. How's it going?
It's going absolutely fantastic there, you wicked witch. How is it on your end?
My end is absolutely great.
All right, baby.
Okay, if you can tell us briefly, how did your new solo release with the Warbeast came about?
Well, I'll be as brief as possible, but everyone knows I'm kind of long-winded. But, a few years back, it was my idea that I needed to release some different music, because it's very tough for me to sit idle. And Down, once Down is finished with a record or the EP, of course, it's like, what can I do now? So for me to keep moving only feels natural. So, as you say, I'm a lover of the underground music. I'm a lover of extreme music. And this, I think, would be the first taste of, I guess, a different form of music than I've really touched on before. And with the split with Warbeast, it was really common sense, and it just is very practical because Warbeast Crushed the Enemy had been out a couple of years, and we knew we had another one to record, which is recorded and finished, and the new Warbeast will be called Destroy. But to prompt their release, I thought it would be a good idea to do a split with them, which would also prompt my solo stuff. So really, we came to a mutual agreement, and we decided to do this. So the Warbeast songs that are on the split, the two songs, those were recorded over 2 years ago, and we've just been holding on to them until I had my shit together, really. And once, through several different sessions, broken apart by several months, I got just under 20 songs of solo material recorded, and it varies very, very much so. There's some stuff that sits well together, and then there's other songs that are really out of left field. So I picked these two songs in particular to go with this Warbeast split because they fit. And I really, honestly, I consider them, I guess, more, straightforward songs of mine. And I don't know, they fit very well together. And it is now 2013, and the split will be out this month. Mm-hmm. And Warbeast should be the new Warbeast. The Destroy record should be out in a couple of months, and my actual full-length solo record will be out early summer. So I think it's a good start for both bands for the year, and once again, it prompts both full-length records, and very interested as to how the public and the fans and curiosity seekers and all of you heavy metal experts out there consume this thing. So it's exciting times around here.
Well, sounds great. I know I heard the track. It was good. Kind of sounded like a little bit Pantera.
Well, look, I've heard kind of sounds like Pantera, kind of sounds like Superjoint, kind of sounds like this and that. But I can't stress enough that really the two songs that I picked were very straightforward in nature. Right. And, I realize that in this day and age, when people hear music and it is new and fresh to them, except it's coming from an established guy like myself, they're going to have to draw some sort of comparisons. And when people bring up Pantera or Superjoint or whatnot, perhaps they're not that far off, but in my mind, they're very far off because Pantera would have never really done these type of songs, and Superjoint would never have been this tight. And one thing in Superjoint that we never had were guitar solos and such, which we do with the solo project. And Marzi Montazeri, the guitar player, is an excellent player, and so much tighter than I could ever play. And that's, I needed an executor on guitar, and that's exactly what he does. And I've said this in the past that I'm a very creative guitar player, but that doesn't make me a good guitar player. I needed an excellent guitar player, and Marzi provided that. And I think by the time people actually consume the full-length record, then perhaps there will be some changes in perception and comparisons as well. So I'm not going to say it's unfair to compare it to the Panteras or any of the other stuff that I may have done before, because obviously it's me. But I still say there is a freshness to it. There is a difference, especially if you're a musician, then you'd be able to pick that out. So, I guess we'll see further down the line what the opinion is.
Exactly. I mean, who cares? As long as it sounds good, fucking heavy, we should all enjoy it, obviously. It is personality.
Well, yeah, and another thing is I really did not want to do a paint-by-numbers thrash record. I really did not.
Mm-hmm.
And however, with that being said, certain songs turn out the way they turn out. And I'm not, I'm the type of guy, when I listen to my own music, I don't like to waste parts, and I trim a lot of fat. So the way these two songs turned out on the split, not to downplay them or anything like that, I just think that, as I say, with the straightforward nature, perhaps there is a general or done before song structure to it in a certain way, but not in necessarily not in ways that I have previously done.
Okay, well said, Phil. Now let's talk about your solo work, which will be released, you said, 2013. Is it close to any other projects you've done?
Well, in the past, I've come straight from the sleeve with Pantera, very close to the heart with the lyrics, but with Down, there is a definite liberation and a freedom of really just letting the lyrics come off the top of my head and letting other people really decide for themselves how it fits for their life or in their opinion. Now, with the solo stuff, I will say that, it's been well documented that I have destroyed my skeleton along the way throughout my career. Being on stage for years and years, since my early teens, since high school, since junior high school, I've been on a stage and been very, very physical. Well, there are times where I have bad days, whether it be due through weather or just the time of year, especially living in the Gulf Coast area. Pressure drops and whatnot.
Right.
And it affects the body, whether it be my knee or back or shoulder sockets or anything. The older you get, those kids hurt right when you wake up.
I know.
And, when I have bad days, it's very tough for me because I resent the pain. I resent the condition. And I think that a lot of these songs, especially if you look at the split, I have a song called Conflict, which really, really, really is absolutely about me being trapped mentally in my own bedroom when really I could get the fuck out of this room and go do something positive towards my condition. Whether it be mental or physical, but sometimes you get tired of the grind, you get tired of doing the same stretching routines and fighting through the day and trying to put on, a
mask,
a happy face for people when you're really miserable.
Right.
So, really, this is a way for me to get these frustrations out via songwriting, and believe me, there's a lot of times where I am enraged at my condition, and like I said before, the song Conflict really encapsulates a lot of those feelings, and I think even on the upcoming full length, which I said would be out in the early summer, there are several songs that might touch upon that as well. And then, of course, I'm going to leave certain lyrics very open to interpretation because, if I were to be too specific on certain things, on certain subjects, perhaps it would be not to my advantage. as far as to reveal them completely. So I will let that remain somewhat of a mystery, despite how straightforward a lot of the lyrics are. And once again, this is all basically puff talk until the record comes out and people can really evaluate this stuff for themselves. So I don't want to give too much away, and I don't want to try to over-explain what people have not even heard yet. So,
Right.
let's let a little air of mystery wreak havoc here.
Okay, now, do you base your lyrics based on your physical pain or emotional pain? Which is worse for you to deal with?
Well, physical pain creeps into the mind regardless.
Right.
And I think some songs, yes, point very directly to that. But as I mentioned a moment ago, there are some songs that are absolutely about very vast and different subjects, but still very close to the heart. And, like I said before, until people hear them, I don't want to give too much away.
Hopefully, they can feel your agony in your lyrics.
I'd imagine they could if they read into it enough and listen.
Tell me about your involvement with the Metal Masters clinic you did with the Kerry King.
Well, this is a brainchild of a guy named Mark Mengi. A good guy, New Yorker, great visionary, and he pulled all of us veterans together.
Okay.
And, honestly, for me, growing up, Slayer, right off the bat, was such a great influence in my life, and one of my favorite bands of all time. Their first 4 records, really, I hold in the highest esteem, even to this day. And either way, I've known the Anthrax guys since the middle 80s. I've known Kerry and most of the Slayer guys since 1987, 1988, and just to get up on stage with these guys, and we have this once a year get together to get up and jam all these old songs, and then you bring in a guy like Gary Holt from Exodus, who really Exodus, PANTERA, our very first American full U.S. tour was with Exodus and Suicidal Tendencies. So that, hooking up with Gary again is a great thing.
Oh, I know.
The utmost respect for all of these guys, Charlie Benante, Scotty, and I've just known these guys for so long. And for us to get up there and play all these old songs, it's a blast. It's a fucking blast, and it's an honor. And I guess, at this point, considering last year went so well, it's something that, I can look forward to. So it's just, it's a perk for me and just an honor.
And part of it, not to mention, they never sold out. I mean, they fucking doing the same genre, same type of style.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And Kerry King will be the first to tell you.
Yes.
When people ask him, what's the new Slayer going to sound like, it's almost laughable.
I know.
He's like, what do you think it's going to sound like?
Exactly.
It's going to sound like fucking Slayer. Slayer has carved out a legacy for themselves.
Absolutely.
Anthrax has stayed very close to their vest. and Exodus too. You know that.
Oh yeah, I know.
They've all this, you know, like you had mentioned, they stayed true to their genres, and you know, I guess I'm the lone wolf here, where I've touched on so many different genres, whether it be stuff that people have never heard before, but I've recorded, or, you know, I can even consider down, you know, of course it's heavy metal, but it's nowhere near thrash or death metal or anything like that, you know, so Down's a very different band. So, you know, I just, thrash, speed metal, the early elements of heavy metal that these guys brought to the table helped mold me as a young man, and to share a stage with them is beyond a dream, and something that, you know, if someone would have told me when I was 15 years old that something like this would be occurring every year, I probably would have.
You'll be pissing your pants.
I would have pissed all over myself. Good way to put it. Yeah.
But isn't that great, though? You know, all your dreams came true. You know, all the musicians that you were looking up to, you actually had opportunity open up for you some point, or you opened up for them. So,
or vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa.
That's even a bit surreal in my mind, because,
I know.
You know, when Pantera was swinging the chain and we were at our full strength and on top of the world, you know, honestly, it goes no further than the last tour that we ever did, which was Morbid Angel, Slayer, and Pantera, which, you know, that's a very, very heavy tour for the 90s, especially. Very heavy tour. So you also mentioned, you know, I've all of my dreams have come true. Remember that dreams do come, I guess fulfilled dreams come with a price.
It does. And
my price tag has been back surgery, knee surgery, broken knuckles, broken toes, hyperextended knees, and broken ribs, and I could keep counting. And you may as well just call me the Evel Knievel of heavy metal. I consider myself a free agent.
Yes.
I am tied to no particular band at all. I make my own choices. Am I a full-time member of Down? Yes, I am, because I'm one of the founders of the band, along with Jimmy and Pepper and Kirk.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's my choice, you know, and that's where,
absolutely.
You know, it brings me to music, really. Music is such a vast place. It's such a vast world. Music is older than recording. Music is older than, it's as ancient is. And there's so many genres to tap into, so many instruments to tap into, so many different feelings, and subgenre upon subgenre to touch upon, that I feel like as a musician, for me, now this is just for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but if I were tied to one genre, I would feel cheated in a way, because music is so vast. I think it's a world that should be explored, and I am an explorer, and I shall sally forth into the night with my exploring, and I won't stop until the clock winds down.
Now, if somebody told you tomorrow there's no more music, Phil, you can't sing, you can't play, music is over, what would you move on to, or would you consider your life will be over if you couldn't do music?
That's a pretty heavy hypothetical.
Yes.
Do you mean music all around, or just music for me? Over.
For you.
Well, I would take a deep breath, I would meditate, and I would make what I feel is the best decision. Now, I'm not, believe me, I know that my strength in life, my calling in life,
and your limitations.
I know that my calling in life is music, first and foremost. I'm too old to pursue a boxing career, which, you know, when I say stuff like that, I'm thinking about what other things in this world interest me.
Right.
I'm too old to play professional football. Hell, I'm too old to play college football. I'm too old to play friggin' goddamn football with 12-year-olds like I do with the United Way kids once a year. They kill me. And anyway, I would... one thing I do believe there is a strength that I have is I do have the power of the pen, and I can write to a certain degree. Am I a great writer? Hell no. Fuck, who's to say? But I can write. So perhaps I would take up the pen and perhaps write or something like that, or do something creative. Hell, I'm even a half-ass decent artist. Something I abandoned as a youngster. So, I haven't done any, paintbrush to palette work in a long, long time. But that sounds very delightful for me. But as far as time goes these days, I don't have fucking time for it. So if music disappeared for me, I guess I would be called by some other form of artwork, whether it be actual artwork or
you will find something to do.
I would find something, yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't just go and disappear or kill yourself.
No, hell no. That's absolutely out of the question. And another thing is, I cannot sit idle.
Yeah.
I cannot sit idle. I feel that is counterproductive and maddening, truthfully. And, so I would have to find something.
Hey guys, it's your friend Pedro. I hope you enjoy the interviews and the Phil Anselmo and the Warbeast. So guys, you guys heard the first part of it a couple of times. And right now we're going to play you guys the Warbeast. His name Bruce Corbitt. He guys singers. And he was in a rigor mortis, guys. So stay tuned for more stuff, guys. We got a music and interviews all show. In a Philip, we'll be back soon. I love the Philly. Give me a kiss on my pinguita.
I beg you, have mercy on me. You're gonna burn in hell.
Hey, fuckers! This is Ipek from band Wicked Witch. Party with me every Thursday night from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Ipek's Wytching Hour. The best metal played and interviews with your favorite bands only on Metal Messiah Radio, fuckers.
And this week I forgot, but this is Pedro. That's like I'm a psychic or something, and I'm like the king of karaoke, and I do all the metal karaoke's every week, and I'm with Miss Wicked, tearing it down. So check it out.
We have a very special guest. We're going to be talking to Bruce Corbitt. He's a vocalist for Warbeast and Rigor Mortis. And we're going to be talking to Bruce about the new split album with Phil Anselmo. Hello, Bruce. Welcome to Ipek's Wytching Hour. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start first, Warbeast, since it's a very hot topic right now. Want to know all about the album with the Phil?
Yeah, well, it's a split, with two exclusive Warbeast songs that weren't on our first album or won't be on our upcoming album, and then, of course, two of Philip Anselmo's solo album songs. And it's coming, it's on vinyl. You can get it on iTunes, CD, whatever you want.
Now, you have the two songs going to be included in there, It and the Birth of Psycho?
Right. The two songs we actually recorded them over 2 years ago, because this was something that it's been a while in the making.
Mm-hmm.
Phil came up with the idea like not long after our first album was released, and he was working on writing songs for a solo album.
Right.
And he just thought, hey man, what'd be cool is if when I get my album ready, if we put out a couple of my songs and a couple of new Warbeast songs and kind of get the buzz out there about both bands before our full lengths come out, a few months later. So.
Right, and then two tracks from Phil's forthcoming solo debut.
Yeah, it's 4 songs total with total of, two of Phil's and two of ours, yeah.
And this is your second album, correct? With the Warbeast?
With Warbeast, we released a full-length Crush the Enemy back in 2010.
Correct.
And then this, like you mentioned, comes out January 8th. And then we've already finished recording our second full-length album that's going to be called Destroy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that should be out not too long after this, maybe February, March for Warbeast. So we're really pumped because we got 2 releases coming out.
Right.
And then Phil's even talking like later in the year we got a couple extra songs we recorded, and we're gonna maybe release those as a 2-sided single.
And then you guys going on to tour with Dawn, correct? In January?
Yeah, we get to go on a 3-week tour with Dawn starting January 11th and hit a lot of the west coast of the U.S. We got to go out with Dawn back in September for a few weeks and mainly did East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Europe for another few weeks.
Okay. And how was that one?
Oh, wow. That was a dream come true for all of us guys in Warbeast because, we've always known about the European metal scene and everything. So we couldn't believe that we got to go over there our first time. And
was it what you expected? Any disappointments or hype about touring in Europe?
Oh, it was, I guess you could say beyond expectations. I knew it would be fun and good. I just didn't know how we'd be, received over there, playing in front of Downs fans. But they treated us really good. Downs always been real good to us, making us feel welcome on the tour. And then we found out the fans really liked the package,
Right.
Different styles of metal. And so we come out with our thrash style, and they slowly warmed up and got into us. And then, of course, everybody there was already fans of Down and knows all their material. So.
And all these old school thrash metal fans, especially Germany, with their, denim jackets,
right.
patches and stuff.
Yeah.
It's still, over there, it's so, norm. You know what I mean? It is. Yeah, it's unbelievable. They're very loyal, die-hard fans, once they like you. Now, describe your music. So the listeners may not be familiar, and we want them to check out your music.
To sum it up, it's really just old-school thrash metal. Because me and Scott Shelby, the guitarist, we come from bands from back in the 80s when thrash was first, making its name. And so that's the kind of stuff we've always done. And we keep it going. And, with Warbeast, we added a really young drummer, Joey Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from a death metal band called Demon Seed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we think that it's, it's old school thrash with some modern touches, especially our drummer. And, we always call it Texas thrash because there's a little different style of thrash that comes out of our area,
Can you tell me what your early influences?
Yeah, of course, Slayer and Destruction and Creator, all those were big influences.
And, of course, big Metallica, right?
Well, yeah, of course, when Metallica first came out, they were a big impact on everyone.
Right.
And then it just fell in, of course, all the Anthraxes and Exodus and Testaments. And,
right.
And we were just, right there making our own albums during that same time. So that's the, era we came from. So when we formed Warbeast, like 5 or 6 years ago, so obviously that's the same kind of style of music that we wanted to do. Pretty much it's in our blood.
Now, Bruce, you sing for another band. You guys started very young, early 80s with the Rigor Mortis, and you still current with them, right?
Yeah, we reunited back in 2005 after, it had been 17 years since I jammed with them, and then, the band came to an end in the early 90s, and Mike went on to be in ministry, and Casey, the bass player, went on to Guar and all these other projects. But we reunited, and we've done a couple of little tours, and we played several shows here and there. And we finally, last year, found the time to write a new album. So we went in last February, and Al Jurgensen of Ministry, we went to his studio in El Paso and stayed at his house almost 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he produced our new Rigor Mortis album. It's going to be called Slaves to the Grave.
Okay. And when is that going to be available, come out?
We don't have a release date yet, but the good news is we're finally getting around to being able to mix the album. After I've finished the album, I had to get right into writing for the new Warbeast album, and then Casey and Mike had to do a lengthy Ministry tour over the summer. And then, of course, I've had these 2 tours with Down we mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. So just now, the time schedules are right for all of us, and the next 2 weeks we're going to be finishing mixing. And then it's just a matter of setting up a release date. And I just know 2013, maybe close to the summertime, is all I really know right now.
Well, we can't wait for that release date. I'm looking forward to it. Like so many years later, 3 decades?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, yeah. Yeah, and I was on the self-titled Rigor Mortis album, the first one, of course, and that came out in 1988, so we're talking, it'll be 25 years later since this lineup has put out an album.
You weren't the original singer, right?
No, I was the original singer, and, like I said, I was on the self-titled one.
Okay.
It's called Rigor Mortis, the one, seems like most people like the best,
mm-hmm.
or know the best, but then they released 2 albums without me. It's so hard to believe that 25 years later we got the original.
We're going to talk about Dimebag's anniversary.
Yeah.
We lost him 8 years ago. Could you tell me any special memories of Dimebag? I know you guys are all from Texas, so I'm assuming you were friends with them.
Yeah, of course, we, same area in PANTERA. Everybody always heard about PANTERA before you actually got to see them or meet them. Everybody talked about, this incredible young guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
And then early on, the nickname was Diamond Daryl. That's what I first knew him as. And, of course, it changed to Dimebag later. And then Rigor Mortis, was doing stuff at the same time. We were kind of going in a different direction, so it wasn't like Rigor Mortis and PANTERA was ever going to do any kind of shows together.
Right.
But, we both built up big followings and fan bases around here. And, people say it was like a rivalry. It was kind of weird. We were like part of that thrash speed metal movement, with the Slayer and all that stuff.
Right.
And PANTERA this is even before Phil joined them. And, when Phil came down, and he was a fan of all kinds of metal, so he liked extreme metal and everything else. So he started coming out to see Rigor Mortis, and we met Phil, and we were like, cool, man. He's like, I'm the new singer for PANTERA. And we're like, well, they don't really like us. We don't really like them, our styles. But he was like, I don't care about that, I'm a fan of this kind of metal, and I like you guys. So we became friends with Phil back then. Like I said, going back to the Dime thing, I didn't get to hang out with him a lot, but any time I did get to be around him, he was the coolest thing. He was just a humble, nice guy.
Right.
And he made you feel like you were the important one in the conversation.
Right.
Which is very rare for someone, that famous and legendary.
Now, tell me why you guys changed your names from Texas Metal Alliance to Warbeast.
When we did that first show, we were it was supposed to be a one-time thing, and we just got members from all of our old bands to kind of get up one night and play each other's songs and have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we called it Texas Metal Alliance, and it made sense because, like I said,
Right.
we had members of all these bands. And then
right
after that, the guys from Gamma Side got in touch and said, hey, we had fun working with you. Rigor Mortis and Gamma Side are so busy they can't be full-time. Would you want to try to keep this band going and write some songs and see where it takes us? And, of course, I went for that.
So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Like, you've done all that work, and then suddenly somebody comes up and, hey, you can't use the name,
yeah. Well, it wasn't like we kept the name for like 2.5 years just because we didn't know.
Right.
It was hard to think of a name, and then we knew, when you first change your name, you got to go around saying formerly Texas Metal Alliance and all that.
Right.
But once we got signed with Phil's label and we're about to record the new album, it just made sense for us to go ahead and make the name change at that time.
Well, I think it's simple and it's meaningful. Warbeast makes sense. I think it sounds good to me. You know, it doesn't matter. I think the music speaks for itself.
Right. Well, not everybody loves the name or any band's name.
Right. Believe me, I had my share.
Yeah.
Yeah. My band's name, Wicked Witch. Everybody's like, "What the fuck?" If you like the music, the name is, means it's irrelevant, really.
So the way I am. I mean, we've had people like they either didn't like the name or they didn't like the logo or
the
way we put a bunch of old school stuff in our logo with the text. And we're like, well, who cares? How
silly is that? How silly is that? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I've never been like, well, I like this band, but I sure don't like the way they drew their name on their album, man.
I know. Like who the fuck is gonna question Korn? Korn.
Right.
And it's spelled with the K.
Yeah.
So you guys also played the one-off show, Ozfest 2008.
Yeah, Rigor Mortis was very lucky to get to do that. It close to our hometown here, and they contacted us. I think it was actually the bass player from Ozzy's band at the time. He was friends with our drummer, and when they were doing this, that was the year they only decided to do one show instead of a tour, and they were doing it here, and they decided to give everybody a Texas stage and get like 5 or 6 of the best bands from Texas, and Ozzy's bass player was like, "Oh, you got to get Rigor Mortis," so we got contacted, and of course, that was one of the probably the biggest show we've ever done.
Right.
Was getting to play
that 20,000 people?
Yeah, I mean, it was, 40,000 total, but we played early in the afternoon, so, it wasn't 40,000 for us.
Yeah, but it's still, you'd probably get a few thousand, to see you. That's.
Oh, yeah, it was like, at least I looked out and I could see like over 5,000 out there in front of us, so. That was 104 degrees.
Oh, I know. Texas is much hotter than Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hot. You throw a raw egg, it cooks in a second on the ground.
Oh, yeah. You can cook them on car hoods out here in the summer.
So you have a bunch of tours lined up, and is it hard back and forth, two bands, you're swinging, is it hard for you? A lot of work?
Well, it keeps me really busy because I'm usually going from one to the other and never much of a break in between. But so far, it hasn't been a problem,
Now, tell me, how was touring with Phil? I know Kirk is a great person, Kirk Weinstein.
Oh, man.
He is funny as hell. And so how is it, like, give me some maybe funny shit, they're pulling their penises out in the shower. Anything like funny like that? Because I saw Kirk's balls in one video DVD came out in London. It was hanging out. So, and any funny thing going on? Hanky pankies.
Well, there's some crazy stuff going on. The thing is, we're all really good friends with Phil, and then we've all got to know all the guys in town. So you can't be going out on the road with some people that you're tight and buds with, and it's like, we've done like 30-something shows with them in recent months, and it's always cool. We show up at every venue, and, they make us feel at home, and it's a supportive kind of thing where when we're on stage, Phil's back there, and then I'll look over and see Kirk or Pat or Pepper, Jimmy at one time or another. They're all coming out and cheering us on, and then we do the same thing for them. And then, of course, like at the end of Downs' set, they play Bury Me in Smoke, and they bring up people from Warbeast, and it becomes just this big free jam. But there's all kinds of craziness going on backstage between us afterwards. Sometimes it's wrestling matches and all kinds of shenanigans and stuff.
Now, I know you guys all have, families and shit. Is there still groupie having sex in the backstage?
Oh, no.
And you would never reveal it, right?
I wouldn't reveal it. Plus, like I said, most of us are either married or, happy. Like our drummer, he is only single member and the young member, so sure
he's getting laid. Not
he's getting laid.
Right?
But I respect him. I'll give him his privacy. The other guys, they might be wanting to sneak in there and take a picture of it or something. But,
right. Now, are you guys still drinking a lot? Because I know Kirk quit drinking alcohol for a long time, and Phil told me it was hard for him to pull out a beer or something in front of Kirk because he didn't want to tempt him. So are you guys drinking a lot? I know it's a tour. It gets boring, just traveling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is when you're out there, it's just like you want to have a couple beers. And of course, there's some drinking going on, but I think both bands, the main thing we make sure of is that we go on stage, we give the fans their money's worth and our best performance. So no one has ever gotten too drunk.
Nobody's getting wasted, right? Not like old days.
Well, if we do, we just make sure we do it after we play.
Afterwards, right? That's a smart idea. Now, you play, 45 minutes, or what's your set going to be at this tour now with the Dawn?
We get 50 minutes on the upcoming tour.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a lengthy set list.
And have you guys covered any other music, any cover song?
No, I mean, in the beginning when we did Texas Metal Alliance, we were playing all of our old bands, Gamma Rigor Mortis, Rotting Corpse. So that's the only kind of covers we've ever done is stuff from one of our previous bands. Now, we were in Austria, and this just big, huge Rigor Mortis fan was there, and he just kept screaming out, some of all Rigor Mortis songs. So in the middle of the set, we just decided to play Shroud of Gloom by Rigor Mortis for him. We hadn't played it in a couple of years, but him and the old Rigor fans, they loved it.
Last one is, I'm a big fan of Lamb of God as well, good friend of Randy Blythe. What do you think of his latest, he's been indicted for murder charges for the fan, died on stage. He didn't even know. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, I know the fans jumping on the stage. You've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the guy's a killer or intentional killer. I just think he reacted and he didn't plan or want this guy to die, and I feel for the guy's family. And I mean, it's a tragedy, you know.
You think he should go back and face, or he should stay home and not go back?
Well, it's pretty scary. I mean, let's put yourself in his shoes, how scary that would be to go, like, your life's on the line pretty much when you...
For 10 years, you may be jailed. You know,
that would be a scary thing, but then I don't know what would happen if he didn't go. I don't know, really. I haven't...
What would you do if it was you? Would you go back and risk everything?
It would be scary, but deep down, I would probably be like him, that I didn't mean this to happen. This guy came up on stage, and I got to,
Does it concern you guys now when the fans jump on the stage? Are you concerned?
Well, a little more than we used to be. I mean, when you knew before, they just get up there and want to stage dive or something. But
ever since Dimebag got killed. You know?
You've got to wonder. It's you just got to be a little more alert.
More aware of your surroundings, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of times after I see that they're just up there, just want to shake my hand or do a stage dive, I'm fine with it. Sometimes we've even had fun and threw them out there too, but we've luckily never had any kind of
right. It's a very unlucky situation for him.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Bruce, it was a really pleasure meeting you and talking to you.
Yeah, it was fun.
And good luck with your new record, and we'll see you on the road.
Unyielding, of course. Inherently
This is Pedro Anselmo, and this is one of the songs that started it off for my karaoke dreams to become the king of the karaoke machine in Miami, Florida. Hialeah, go Miami Heat. Tonight they may win, be a champion. Well, this song is called This Love, and I did this song a long time ago. I did like a piece, a part of it, like a medley, like a little piece. So this time I'm gonna do the whole fucking thing, and Miss Wicca is probably gonna fuck it up because she always makes a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4. If ever words were spoken, pamphlet on truth, I say I love, but I lie. Guys, I fucking lied. I love. You know, sometimes I fucking lies. You know. In my life, all I wanted was the keeping of someone like you. As it turns out, the person within me, love was twisted and pointed at you. You know, guys, it was pointed at you. Oh, my friend, never pan. Okay, the quickly ending life. You keep this love thing, love child, love toy. You keep this love piece, love scar, love brag. You keep this love, guys. You keep this love. You keep this love, guys. Now, guys, I am singing this song to the actor mom. Her porno movie called Home Alone came out this week, and I was thinking her house of foreclosure, and I think that is a good thing. Let me go back to the song. I miss a verse. This getting pan, her pan was live, guys. I miss a couple of verses. I love it. And sometimes I feel so sorry, guys. I feel so sorry. I regret this, the hurting of you, Miss Octomom. But you make me so happy. I want to give you a couple of kids and live love with you. You know, I want to give you my octo babies. I kill myself for you.
I will kill you, Pedro.
Kill you for myself. You kill love thing, love child, love toys. You give this love beast, love scar, love brag. You got a scar. I fuck you this love, guys. You keep this love. Miss Wigga sound like a fucking dog in a heap. She sound like a dog in a heap, and the octo mom, I want to give her 8 Pedro babies, and we can, with 8 Pedro babies, we can populate the people. We populate the panels. Okay, 1, 2, 3, no more head trips. Rojo. It says rojo, not rojo. Not rojo. Guys, a Dimebag never knew that I was gonna sing this song like this, or he would have picked me for Damage Plan. And you know, guys, if I was in Damage Plan, I would have had a machine gun. This motherfucker came there and took our Dimebag, that motherfucker. Let's spit on his grave, that piece of shit. He should not even have a grave, whoever that fucking guy was. Fuck that shit. Okay, it's a sad song. It's about me and the Octo Mom. It's called This Love. Yeah, I love it. Oh, solo 16 measures, guys. Oh, he make a beautiful solo, but this is karaoke, so this is the karaoke solo. Some guy, he play a good guitar. He's not as good as Dimebag, but he play the riff very similar, and he play a nice solo, and we respect that. It is a karaoke guitar player and the tongue guitar. Listen to the guitar, guys. Listen to the tongue guitar. The tongue bass, I'm a Rex bass. You get this love thing, love child, love toys. You get this love bass, love scar, love brags. You get this love. You keep this love and loving. You keep this love. You keep this love. Oh God, Miss Wigga.
You keep this
Love. Oh, God. I'm going to put my... Miss Week, you're breaking the karaoke machine is broken. You fucking broke this karaoke machine. Oh, punk. Oh, Pedro Anselmo said, punk. You punk. Pedro Anselmo is going to go do some heroin like a Phil Anselmo. Circa de Vogers, the player power. Gracias y ustedes también. I love everybody. We support 20 years of vocal display. I can't believe 20 years. The first time I heard this song, I had no views on my little pinguita.
You had no views.
I love it.
Just recently, you lost another friend of yours.
Very close friend named Mike Scaccia, and guitar player for Rigor Mortis and Ministry and a lot of other bands.
Yes.
You know, he was a very similar and kindred spirit to me in a point to where he played in a lot of different bands and experimented with a lot of different music. But the importance of Mike Scaccia, I can't really put into perfect words, but back when I first joined Pantera, Rigor Mortis and Pantera were rival bands.
Mm-hmm.
And Rigor Mortis was playing very fast speed metal at the time, where Pantera were grounded in old heavy metal, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden type stuff still. And Rigor Mortis were definitely more progressive. And there was always this, who's the better guitar player, Mike Scaccia or Dimebag Darrell? Well, my opinion was always that I was a Rigor Mortis fan, and I let them know back in the 80s that I would have no part of the rivalry. I was a fan of Rigor Mortis since I first moved into the first house I moved into when I moved to Texas. Because right there on the top of the stereo was a Rigor Mortis demo. It was their very first demo, and I was a crazy demo collector and trader at the time, and I put the demo on, and it blew me away, and shortly thereafter, I got to meet the guys, and they were, like, very surprised that I was the new lead singer for Pantera, and, they were like, my God, man, you should be one of us, you should be in the underground, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and at the time, I really didn't understand what they meant, but I did there shortly after, because, it's like, speed metal was a step towards the future, whereas Pantera at the time were kind of spinning their wheels in the past. So I realized where they were coming from. I realized what the differences were. But to get straight to Mike Scaccia, he was a soft-spoken individual, but underneath all that soft-spokenness, he was a monster. He was a beast on the guitar, and I gotta say, since 1987, I have known, and put it this way, I've toured the world. I've played with excellent guitar players my entire career. I have seen living legend guitar players play right in front of my eyes on the same stage. But I've always known the fastest, and I do mean the fastest, most precise player on this planet was Mike Scaccia, and there was no true comparison. There was no real challenge there. And now that he is gone, it's easy for me to say that as far as speed and precision goes, the playing field is very level now. I was at Mike Scaccia's funeral not but a week ago or less than, and it was a very sad, I guess unreal occasion, but at the same time, with the guys from Ministry and especially my brothers in Rigor Mortis, being there, there were several moments where we'd be standing outside, especially after the viewing, which was very, very heart-wrenching. But we were standing outside and trying to come to grips with everything, and we ended up talking about a lot of the good, amazing, killer times that we had spent with Mike and all the good stories. So one thing I gotta say, when you say and you bring up my sadness and not being able to attend Dimebag's funeral because of knee-jerk reactions and grudges held against me, especially back then, it was a very, I guess it was a very pleasant thing to see how much everyone who had been part of Mike's life was welcome and invited and I guess allowed the chance to mourn together and to be together and to eventually celebrate his life, and to be part of that. It leaves me feeling two different ways. One, it makes me glad that I was there to be part of that and to be welcome and to share with all of Mike's very close bandmates. And the other part of it is that I wish that the PANTERA camp would have had the compassion that the rigor mortis camp had, and to allow everyone who truly was close in. And honestly, in PANTERA, Dimebag and I were, despite, obviously he and Vince being brothers, Dimebag was very much my brother as well. So much so, my brother as well. And then, I guess it opens up fresh wounds, or old wounds, should I say. It opens up old wounds. And I guess that's for me to cope with. But I just found it very ironic that two of the Dallas-Fort Worth area's most renowned and loved lead guitar players both left this world on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that both of them are gone, it's a gigantic blow, not only to the rest of the world, really, but for the DFW area in general. But I do think that both of their lives, Dimebag and Mike Scaccia, it's time to celebrate, and which in Dimebag's case, I can't help but celebrate his life, because I wake up with him in my head every day of my life, whether I'm hearing his voice or remembering something that happened in the past that was a positive thing or a fun time in our lives growing up together. And I guess the same things and the same feelings can be said about Mike Scaccia, although I was looking in from the outside of what Rigor Mortis was doing. They all, Bruce, Casey, Hardin, and Mike, always allowed me to be part of their experience because of my love for the band. And I don't know, I find the whole thing very ironic, very sad, but also as human beings, we have to put our foot forward and move on, but we got to move on tactfully, and we have to move on gracefully. And really, in my opinion, we have to do our fallen comrades justice with our life and do the best that we can. So, rest in peace, Mike.
I know. But like I said before, it's a fate. Phil, you could have been with Dimebag on that stage. God forbid, you would have been the one lost your life.
Well, I know the story. I've spoken to the police officers who were there and handled the situation when Dimebag was murdered, and they told me clearly that, after investigation and going back to the murderer's apartment and digging through his notes that he had taken and threats and death threats that he had written down, that any one of us were targets.
Yes, he was coming after you as well.
I had a police officer tell me on that particular night, had Super Joint been playing or Down or any of my other bands at the time, that I most certainly would have been the target. So, not that made me feel any better.
Yeah.
But it did not. It did not make me feel better at all.
No, of course not.
It did clarify in my mind that all of the negative vibe that I had received, either from, media, but also, in today's world of where people can leave comments and this and that, it's really, I found it very, very insulting and also interesting that people could chime in on a subject that they knew nothing about, really.
Yeah.
All they knew was what the media fed them. And, the media, they're dying to, I guess in the past, either sell tangible magazines or get hits on their website.
Yeah.
So, anything to stir the pot was, they most certainly did that. So, but that, honestly, this is all old news. I think that my actions over the past 7, 8 years, now it's almost a decade coming up pretty soon, since negativity has really controlled my life, or I allowed it to control my life. I do not let it control my life at all anymore. I am in control, and life is going to dish out negativity no matter what. At the time, I was doing everything possible to let negativity into my life, and that's a tough lesson to learn, that you really are in control of certain aspects of your life. But life, like I said before, is going to dish out controversy. It's going to dish out pain. It's going to dish out sadness.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us to handle it the way, I guess, the best way that we can, and the most healthy way that we can. And really, that's where my head is at now. And sure, absolutely, I still think of what could have been. I think of the tremendous loss. I feel sadness more than I can even articulate right here. But if I were to allow that to control me, it would be absolutely unhealthy.
No, it's don't dwell on it.
If I were to dwell too much in the past, I know now very well that is just an unhealthy practice. Very unhealthy practice. Life changes you as you go and grow older.
Yeah.
It changes you, changes your perception on many things, and some people would call that maturing. I'm not so sure I'm more mature, so to speak. And I kind of joking there, but it's like, it's honestly, life is what you make it. And right now, I'm making it positive.
Good to know. I mean, there are certain things we cannot change. We cannot stop. We have no control over. The death, we cannot control over. You don't know when you walk out the door. There is no
rewinding time, period.
You know what I mean? No, nothing. Now, on the same subject, almost similar to, I want to ask your thoughts on Randy Blythe, on Lamb of God.
Yeah.
His arrest and indictment in Czech Republic. The fan got killed, died.
I know the story.
So, give me your insight. What would you have done if you were in his shoes? Prevent it, and would you go and face the trial? May put you in jail for 15 years.
Well, that's interesting. I wasn't sure where the question was going to go, but that's an interesting question. Would I face the trial? Believe me, I would have lawyered up, and I've done everything possible in this country, America, to avoid having to go back to the Czech Republic. Because honestly, I think it's a bogus charge.
Yeah.
I've seen the footage.
Yeah.
And I've done what Randy has done 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
And I think that from the footage that I saw, there was a big, giant security guard
pushing him,
in the same moment. Why don't they go after the security guard as well?
Yep, exactly.
I think it's a very unfortunate situation. And by all rights, when you're a young man and you go to a heavy metal show with the intent of being active in the mosh pit and also stage diving over and over and over again, and on top of that being drunk, from what I hear, or even, I don't care if somebody's bone sober, if you're going to be active and you're going to jump off of a 6-foot stage, you are always honestly responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
So to me, I think the ruling on this, and I'm no judge, but I can judge from afar as another human being, that this is an accidental death.
Yes.
And it's no one's fault, especially Randy.
Yeah.
And I just think that the powers that be there have no fucking idea what entails a heavy metal concert. That they have no fucking idea what entails the rules and the unwritten laws of the pit and stage diving and anything like that, because you and I both know there are unwritten laws. We grew up in a time where the pit was a counterclockwise dance, so to speak.
Right.
And if someone were to fall, you were to pick them up directly off the floor.
Right.
And if someone were to stage dive, you were to catch them as they fall.
Right.
Now, believe me, I've done this. I've been that guy in the pit. Not even just my shows. I've seen Slayer.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, where I've lost a pair of shoes in the pit. It was so friggin' violent. But did I stage dive? Fucking yes, I did.
Yes.
Did I continue to skank in the pit? Yes, I did. It's your own choice.
Your own choice.
And what's sad about this is we're living in a world where no one is fucking accountable for their own actions anymore.
Correct.
You can put blame anywhere else except yourself.
Yes.
And I think that Randy Blythe is innocent. charges, of manslaughter charges. I think he's innocent of anything like that. Once again, I'll go on record and say that this is an accidental death, and the fact that Randy's been indicted is an incredibly unfortunate situation. And I just, I really, really, in my heart, I'm sending out good vibes to him, because I hope that this goes away, man, in his life, because I know that things like this, believe me, I've been involved in over a dozen lawsuits throughout my life, and I know that's not quite the same. Some of my lawsuits did, they were for assault with a deadly weapon and stuff like that. But, and yes, I was facing jail time, but this is different.
Yes.
Someone's dead. They're trying to
pin on you, blame on you.
Well, they're trying to put him in jail for murder.
I know.
And I just think that this is way too far-fetched. Way too far-fetched and absolutely unfortunate.
I know. That's really sad for a musician, especially if he goes and he doesn't go back, then that means he will never be able to tour in Europe. If he goes back, then they find him guilty. Then now he's 13, 15 years. His life is over. He'll never be able to tour, leave the wife and, band behind. I don't know, what I would do,
Well, you take away the European touring these days, and especially these days, that wipes out a lot of your income as a business person, as a person that your job is to make music.
Correct.
And if they take away that part of his job, that's the entire band.
I know.
The entire band that has families to feed, children to feed.
Yes.
And I think it's unfair. I think it's
it is.
It's scary, really.
It really is scary.
It's scary.
Yeah. Now,
normally, in Europe, things are much more relaxed as far as
the fans
confrontation goes, or lawsuits or anything like that. If you get into a fist fight, it's over.
Yes.
After you fucking scrap, it's over. You can shake hands and give the guy a T-shirt and say,
right,
no hard feelings for the bloody nose.
Right. And most of the fans wouldn't sue you anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I just find it very strange that it's Prague.
I mean, they extorted like $500,000 already from the band.
And it is extortion. You use the word right there. It is extortion.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a bogus charge.
It wouldn't have even gone to trial in America. No.
Not at all.
No.
Especially considering, I brought it up before, but every person has free will.
Yes.
Nobody gets, if people say, oh, he was talked into it, or somebody was coerced into doing something against their will. Of course that exists, but still, the end result lies on the single person's action. There's a man named Charles Manson that is sitting in jail.
Right.
Because apparently he coerced people to murder.
Right.
Did Charles Manson commit those murders? No, he did not.
No, he did not. But technically.
No, it's like, somehow, as far as justice goes, and I use that word very loosely,
right,
laws and lawmakers and supposed, I guess, leaders of communities, they will jump to any conclusion that they think will make them look better in the overall, their constituents' eyes. But in all reality, the fact that every person has free will, somehow that fact, that fucking absolute 100% true fact, goes out the fucking window. And that's a sad thing. Nobody is accountable for anything anymore. It's always someone else's fault. And it's not fucking true.
But remember,
it's a lie.
Do you remember the last time? I mean, when you perform in clubs, you don't really. I mean, it takes it away. Like now, ever since the Dimebag incident, now when I go to the shows, they're searching me like I'm a fucking criminal. It's not supposed to be.
Well, that is for safety.
Now I know, I realize now. But
as a guy who had his guitar player murdered on stage, I don't mind people being searched at all. Believe me, I think.
Yeah, I know. But the point.
And honestly, it's for the safety of the entire audience. You know, because if someone comes in toting a gun these days, and look no further than just before Christmas, when the guy walked into that school and shot first graders.
Right.
It's like you cannot gauge someone else's insanity. You cannot gauge it. And human beings, whether we like to realize or not, or as sophisticated as we may think we are, you don't know what your neighbor is doing. You really don't. You don't know what your closest neighbor is doing. You don't know what the person on the next block is going to do. The human beings are not to be trusted. We are a hostile organism.
Yes.
And that's why there are laws. And, you know, people may argue with that, but people still run stop signs. You know, it's like, you know, it's we are an imperfect being, and that's proven every day. So as far as someone coming into a show, I don't mind. I don't mind security guards patting them down. I don't at all. Airplanes, anything like that. It's just humans are not to be trusted.
But you know what my point is? I mean,
that's a shame.
You know, my point is, this has come to now. We have to have a metal detectors everywhere: movie theaters, shopping centers, schools, and the places, you know, the most secure. You know, like you wouldn't imagine anybody going to come in with a gun.
Places that should be safe.
Safe, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The point is now, I mean, what the fuck is going on in this world? Why would you want to go and kill a musician? Why do you want to go kill little kids? What's going on here?
Well, look no further than John Lennon.
Yes.
You know, and you know, several, you know, it's happened, you know, political figures.
Yeah, the president, J.F. Kennedy.
Once again, the next door neighbor.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Don't know. It happens every day.
It's a sad world.
Okay. Karaoke Dimebag Daryl, Vinnie Paul, Kika, Vinnie Paul, I love you. Alright, do it. Phil Anselmo's not here because I am Pedro Anselmo. Bang, it's a very underrated song. I love it. I don't know why it hasn't been covered by some famous band yet. I love it. In the States, there's a problem with rest because of ignorant bass-burn fires. From Revolution, we've been killing each other. I figured I should have it down to a science. No chance! Not for a minute, not for a second. There won't be defensive straight up. In my opinion, you better listen to a man who knows what he said. I see your side. You want to have for the mere fact that you feel inferior. beso pero no your interiors. Prejudice, I am prejudice. Black man, white man, no stand. Live in the past, we get lost. I hate it más. No solution, a man pollution, for revolution. Bang, bang. Solo the whole minds. I love it. This land of fools. No good for no one. You're no good for no one. You blame oppression and player, roll of criminals, trap and burn. Your versus minimal wahos. Militation is such a pity. Living, breathing, violence in your city. One man, and one home, in one world, he live alone. Variety, full of anxiety. No one to point out, question if you talk to. He's fire and red. No matter what color, he wouldn't be sad from hell. He dwells. Close man playing part of prison cell. For us, precious those. Black man, white man, Chinese man, Puerto Rican man, living in the past, women get lost, I had that mask. No solution, a man pollution, for revolution, solo behold my eyes, ojos, this land of Bruce will rise. It's no good for no one. You're no good for no one. Oh guys, I ate too many burritos. Oh, this is an intermental break. Now guys, I haven't listened to this song for a while now, so I'm a little bit rusty, but I programmed the karaoke machine to do this because no good attacks radical. They're talking about a very important things in society, race relations, people with problems. And Phil Anselmo, this part, sometimes he said he racist, but then he said he don't be racist. Now you go to YouTube and you type Phil Anselmo, and then you will see some things that he said on stage. He said he was drunk, or he said some bad things about some people. I don't know, guys. I'm a good man. I don't say anything bad about anybody. I love no good. I take the radical. Rex bass, tongue bass, bang. Solo behold your eyes. This land of fools will rise. No, no good for no one. You're no good for no one. You see that guys? You go like, whoa! I love whoa! That's all, guys. That's all I love. I love whoa! I love it.
This is Philip H. Anselmo, and you're listening to Ipek's Wytching Hour on Metal Messiah Radio.
Bruce Corbitt from Warbeast and also Rigor Mortis. You're listening to Metal Messiah Radio on Ipek's Wytching Hour. Crank it up.
Are you ever going to have a child, Phil? Because you got to have your legacy go on. At least leave a child behind. And people say, this is Phil Anselmo's kid.
What did we just talk about? It's an ugly world.
It really is. I think you should really pass your gene on
I think I'm passing my genes via music right now.
That's true. New Down album as a Christmas present, even though a little late. The Purple EP. I'm looking at it like you guys pictures like Charles Bronson, black and white, gray. Can you tell me what was this like the artwork?
Well, hey, before you get any further into this, artwork with Down, those are all Pepper questions.
Okay.
Those, I leave that shit to Pepper.
Okay.
And honestly, with this new Down, I think I especially, and we, as a band and as a unit, very much so approach this record the same way we approached the first demos that we had ever done.
Okay.
And that entails not overthinking, just pounding out session after session and taking breaks on purpose and coming back to the songs and realizing, what more be done. Writing down songs, you put the five of us in a room together, and if the objectivity is to write a down song, that's not rocket science, it's fucking easy, really.
Yeah.
So I let it come. To me, I let the music
speaks for itself.
Well, yeah, but within that, I let the writing process and the rest of us. I encourage everyone very much so to not overthink it. Let it come to us naturally. And when it came to the lyrics, I stayed as far away from the project as possible, because when I did the first Down demos, I had no lyrics at all. Nobody had any riffs written. Nobody had anything written, really. We just came together with an idea. Now, remember I said, when we get together, when we write, it's going to sound like Down. So there was no fears there for me. I knew that was crystal clear. The way I approached the lyrics, though, I just let them come to me. I wrote what I wrote, and to me, perhaps there's depth there for the listener. But I really wrote these lyrics so wide open to interpretation.
Right.
On purpose, because that is my freedom in Down. I can write
anything you want, yeah.
Image conscious lyrics. Something that puts an image in your head. And from there, I want people to take the songs and let them interpret them the way they want to interpret them. So they could be, I guess, a personal thing for them. Because for me, I was just writing songs. I was just writing songs. It's like there's an old Beatles documentary where some fan of John Lennon comes and knocks on his door, and John Lennon answers, and the kid says to him, "So what were you thinking, when you wrote, 'Boy, you're going to carry that weight'?" And John Lennon just says to him, "I was just writing a song. That's what I was thinking. I was just writing what came to me and what felt naturally. I was just writing a fucking song." And that's how I feel about these lyrics with Down. I was just writing a song, whether it made fucking grammatical sense or not, as long as the words looked right together, because that's something it's one of my things. Words have to look right together. I can't really explain it, but if the words,
yeah, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, if they look right together, if they flow correctly,
yeah,
then that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I like the fact that your voice is much more raspier, bluesy. It puts you in some different type of mode. and you can feel it. It's very emotional, and I am very, very big fan of Down. I think I like it a lot of different reasons. Like it's not polished.
Not at all, no.
Yeah.
Of course, and I wouldn't have it.
No.
Everything on the sound, as far as production goes, is absolutely real.
Real, very raw, very raw.
Very raw and real.
Very real.
Well, honestly, it's raw because it's real. Because people are used to listening to overproduced, super slick, computerized this and that these days.
I know.
So we didn't use any of
big producer
or crazy production. We just recorded our songs with real drum sounds and real guitar sounds and real everything. No big editing or anything like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you bring up the vocals and the vocal approach, it was funny. Believe me, I went to sing, once again, it was just the idea in my head. But every time I went to sing, it would come out only one way. no matter what I would try to incorporate or whatever. So right then and there, I thought to myself, it's like, well, fuck. If this is what's happening, if it's just coming out this way, why fight it?
Right.
Fucking just let it happen, fuck it.
No, it's very organic. Very organic. I love it.
It is organic.
Yeah, it really is. I know. I love it much more than, I'm a big Pantera fan, but same time, when the Down came out, I couldn't believe it. I said, this is Phil. This is really Phil. His personality, where he grew up, his experiences, he's basically, he touched a lot of souls. It's like a soul food, like a soul music. I really love it. During the holiday season, I know you're busy with your releases and tour.
Very busy.
Do you have any time to watch any movies or albums you listen? What do you recommend?
Well, not really. I don't like I say, I am a horror movie fucking fanatic.
Okay.
And I've seen some modern horror films that are noteworthy, but I'm always going to go back to the classics and the originals.
Okay.
And we live in a day where the remake is in.
Is in. Yeah, correct.
It's very in.
Yep.
No knock against my good buddy Bill Moseley, because I know it puts bread on his table. But how many fucking times can they remake the fucking Texas Chainsaw?
Oh my God! Or the Halloween or
any of that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like boring.
It's boring. It's always the first one is the best. Yeah, you're right.
I'm a stickler for the originals. Man.
Are you going to start acting in the movies?
Can't see myself acting at all, because that's like posing, so to speak. It's like playing this big fake role. I couldn't remember all the fucking lines. I would be disinterested very quick. It's not for me. I'd much rather watch the movies. But I will say this. I have revisited over the last year and a half and into this new year the fantastic works of H.P. Lovecraft, and I am stunned, amazed, and gasping for air at his genius and how much he shaped what we even halfway consider as horror these days. And I can't go on enough. He's the greatest horror writer, in my opinion, in the history of the genre. And there's been some great horror writers that have been, around for a long time, and not to discredit or whatever the Edgar Allan Poes, and even all the way up to the early Stephen Kings, or a guy that would want to be like Lovecraft and Clive Barker, but there's something in Lovecraft. It's almost like every sentence he uses, there is some form of suffocating dread that I love so much. And I just can't say enough about Lovecraft right now.
That's awesome.
You know,
yeah.
It's like the more times I read one story, the more and more and more it keeps coming together. I discover a new twist that I didn't catch before and whatnot. You have to be very patient when you read Lovecraft. Very patient and very diligent when you read Lovecraft, because he uses archaic language quite a bit. And then also he uses within his own mythos a group of gods that are, I guess, referred to as the old ones and the deep ones and the outer ones and the elder ones, and really he bases his gods off of true gods or other mythology. You know, gods are, you know, the term gods, you know, that's up to debate anyway.
Right.
But as far as you take Nyarlathotep and you look at the name and the history of it, you know, he dates himself, he dates Nyarlathotep's earliest roots in Egypt, in early Egypt, and really it's based off of a real person in history, you know. So in other words, he mixes fact and fiction so well that his mythos comes across as real as any. Because to me, religion is up to, you know, once again, up for grabs and up for debate and up for scrutiny of all types. So who's to say that Lovecraft's mythos is any more, I guess, fiction than any other ideology? You know,
right.
I don't know.
It all depends on what you believe in, right?
Well, it all depends. Well, what you believe in, sure. But
right.
I'm not sure I believe in anything. I will say that Lovecraft's gaggle of gods are more preferable in my house than your average fare.
Very well said. You making any money from your label?
As a professor of extreme music, no, I am broke as far as that goes.
Really?
I've got a lot of irons in the fire. It's just, I'm working with some new bands, and hymns are one of them. And I'm a child of early Morbid Angel, supplication, and whatnot. But you know, for me, the best death metal right now is coming right out of Brisbane, Australia. And black metal, you know, I think that there's a great part of it that's run its course.
It's kind of limited.
It's very limited unless you unlimit yourself.
I know.
You know, there are ways of thinking out of the box.
Correct.
Look no further than Death Spell Omega. They're fucking pushing the envelope. So there are extremes to be met, and I aim to search out these extremes and study them like science.
I know. I can tell you're doing your homework. We finished chatting with Phil, and I want everybody to go down with Warbeast and pick up their split EP. Order it now. Phil, I thank you so much for lovely chat with you. It's my pleasure, my honor.
Oh, come on now. You know we will speak very soon. You wicked witch, you.
Thank you so much.
Damn straight woman.
Okay, thank you, Phil. You're the best, honey. I love you. Take care.
Hello, guys. It's your favorite guy. It is a Pedro Anselmo, and we're gonna do a song from a Pantera. We're doing a celebration 20 years vocal display pack 1, 2, 3, 4, almost every day. I see this damn fast on broken picture tube. If it's the attitude, bang, dang, dang, dang. If you guys see yourself, you put on a shelf. You rubber masturbate, promise to not the air, bang, dang, 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 dang. Today I'll play the part of non-parent. Now make 100 rules for you to know about yourself, bang, dang, dang, dang. Now let me make you believe what he is making. Oh, make your friends and meeting God your own way. The right way, guys. To see, to bleed, cannot be taught, guys. In turn, you're making us hostile. Stand alone. You guys love the clean vocals. I'm Pedro Anselmo. The truth are right and wrong. The boundaries of the law. Listen to me, the point. I was there for a joint. I love it. To wonder why until these all people die. You know what's the biggest man? My mom got jumped around. Bang, 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 bang. Now play a sponsor. Deserve it for dick. By the law in the day. Bang, 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 bang. But the phone 70 on Martin leave you. Being cross me, I shake your hand like a midnight girl. To see, to bleed. You cannot be taught. Bang, 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 bang. You're making us stand alone. Guys, I love this song. Oh, Beach. They said a fucking Beach, guys. Miss Wicked died. She still sick coughing. I think she fucked some guys or something. She got it sick. She going crazy playing with the kitty cats and shit. We celebrate 20 years of vocal display power. I might have done this song before. I don't even fucking remember all the karaoke. I fuck it up sometimes, but you know I love Pantera, Pedro Anselmo, tongue guitar. You want me to make a boy? Something that you can enjoy because of heaven, hell. A fucking white tail, bang, 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 bang. They put it in your head, they put it in your bed. You know what to say your prayers. God is everywhere, bang, 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 bang. A play a man, learn pretty soon about to take you to be tested live. What's the guy human and go on my phone? It's going too fucking fast. I can't do it. To see, to believe, cannot be taught. I know it cannot in turn. You're making us fucking hostile. Guys, I know, guys, Dimebag died, but if they do a reunion, they can have a Pedro Anselmo and the tongue guitar. Gracias. Okay, guys, you heard a couple of Pedro Anselmo karaoke's tonight. I did the last one, I fucking hostile. This is a repeat. I've done it many times. So if you wonder what that was not a Philly Anselmo, that was a Pedro. But I hope you guys enjoy the show. Miss Wee will be back next week. Like we said, this was a good interview she did. It was a couple hours special. We got extra stuff from it. We're going to play another week. Rest in peace of Mike Scaccia from the Rigor Mortis. We love you all. And we're going to end this show.
I beg you, have mercy on me. You're gonna burn in hell.
Hey, fuckers. This is Ipek from band Wicked Witch. Party with me every Thursday night from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Ipek's Wytching Hour. The best metal played and interviews with your favorite bands only on Metal Messiah Radio, fuckers.
And Miss Week, I forgot, but this is Pedro that's like I'm a psychic or something, and I'm like the king of karaoke, and I do all the metal karaoke's every week, and I'm with Miss Wicked, tearing it down, so check it out.